live shows at 18, $20.
Do you do me a favor and just clap your hands together? That's good. We'll sync that up. We're at the International Indigenous Music Summit, and I'm here with Dave McLeod. Dave, hello.
Hi, bonjour, tansei, anin.
And maybe let the viewers know what do you do?
I work with MCI-FM. It's a provincial radio network in Manitoba, and I'm also the executive producer of the Indigenous Music Countdown. It's heard on Sirius XM and some stations across the country, and also do some curating with a couple of museums to recognize Indigenous music.
Excellent. And is there anything specific that of interest, or any of the artists showcasing this week and weekend that you really want to see?
I think it's about multi-genres and hearing stories. Right now, even today, we heard stories of where people are from and the urgency in which music is needed in terms of healing, in terms of voicing concerns about societal issues. It could be having to do with government decisions, and sometimes it's life or death, and also connecting to culture, connecting to the land. So music is so powerful, and I think when people say, "Oh, it's just music," music is so much more than I think some people realize.
Oh yeah.
And our people, we are natural storytellers, and that's how we disseminate information and share knowledge. And I see music and the arts is just another sort of facet of our way of getting that knowledge out there. So do you think initiatives like this, the International Indigenous Music Summit, and other sort of conferences and get-togethers like this, do you think that's all very helpful in getting our messages and stories out to a larger audience, a mainstream audience, if you will?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think our own community audiences are the most important. And something that's been said here is mainstream can be defined as other stream. I heard that yesterday, and that's something that I think holds true. What's also happening here with everybody working together is there's synergies going on. We just got through COVID for a couple of years, so I think the fact that people are face to face again, feeling those energies, and it's a global energy too that's here. It's not local. It's which is important, but it's so much more. And those energies and those vibrations, as I've also heard today, are very important. So we can carry those within ourselves and what we do, within what we pursue, within our thoughts, our dreams, and the music that's being made and others.
And any advice to, say, a young Indigenous person listening or watching this that wants to get into the music business?
Well, I would say you'll find your own path, and sometimes you don't need anybody's advice because you're going to listen to your heart, and it'll tell you, your heart and your mind, where you go. I've met musicians today that are getting international recognition who are not signed with a label. So sometimes the rules aren't really made within mainstream for Indigenous success within that. So what's happening now is, as you are, Mark, creating your label with your wife, and I think that's important. Iscode Records is also another Indigenous-owned label. It's time for us to truly thrive and survive. We have to do it on our own, by our own rules, and I think that we're at a point where that's growing quicker, with technology being very accessible, and also artists being able to communicate and record with each other across boundaries and territories. So we're in an incredible spot right now. So I think we're going to see Indigenous music snowball particularly quick within the next 5 years, and we're going to hear people working together. We're going to hear multiple genres, new genres created, I'm sure. And Duke Redberg yesterday was here, and he certainly sees that the youth are definitely going to take us to places that we can't even imagine.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Chi-Miigwech, great job. Good to see you out always.
Upon your skin, close your eyes. Can you feel the orange she's got your back? It's amazing.
We're at the International Indigenous Music Summit, and we're on night. Is it night 2 already?
Night 3.
I forgot where we are. Night 3. Okay. Sorry, I forgot where we were.
Who's keeping track?
Exactly. And we're here with Lacey Hill, and we just watched your sound check, and we're looking forward to the show. And it's great to see you. And you've been traveling the world.
Yep.
And you were in Australia for a while. And tell us about that.
Yeah, I was gigged down there, toured, went to World Pride, sang a bunch of songs there, did work some with APAM, also did a 3-week residency with Mughal Performing Arts, and did some festivals out there. I traveled to Brisbane, Lightning Ridge, Dagu. Some of the spaces are hard to pronounce, but there's one that's Brewarna, and it's really interesting there because they have the oldest man-made structure, and it goes back to like 150,000 years, and it's fishing traps, and they had a beautiful festival there called Biani Nunu Festival, and I was able to perform right there with the river, and it was just such a beautiful experience. It's filled my heart because when the pandemic hit, everything was canceled, and I was working so hard for those gigs, and then that hit, and then everything was canceled, and then now it just feels so much. I feel it much more than I think that I ever would before. You know, the time that it took to be there and to embrace those feelings of the land, and also share stories from our people to over there, because we have a lot of like a shorthand book, I would say, because we have like the same kind of colonizers, so it's like they know they have the same kind of things but just in different language. So when we communicate, it's like, hey, we got that too, hey, you know, like, so it's like really awesome because it feels like home. So even though I'm so far away, I still feel good there, and I still feel like I'm at home because of how they are and the land and how they treat people, the host. Like they're the best hosts. I love it. So yeah, I'm just traveling around. I'm booked there for next year.
That's right, because you're headed back there very soon.
Monday.
That's right, Monday. And congrats on your success of your record. You've been on various charts across the country and nominated at the Summer Solstice Indigenous Music Awards.
You too. Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my
Thank
first
you.
nominations. You get nominated all the time, but
Yes, and I never win. That's right.
but it feels good being nominated. Like
Absolutely.
It feels like I've already won. So I don't know. I'm just like really thankful, and I'm really glad that people are enjoying the music. And the Moon is on Indigenous Music Countdown. It's at 16 right now, but if you go vote, it might
That's right. Be sure to vote.
get up on there. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. All right. Have a great show.
Together we're tied. It's amazing to feel like that.
It's okay. We're at the International Indigenous Music Summit here in Toronto, Ontario, May 31st to June 4th, and we're talking to Veronica Johnny.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
I am doing great. Long time no see, although during the pandemic we didn't see anybody, but it's great to see everyone back again, especially at this event.
Yes, me too. It's like a family reunion. Hey, it's both ceremony and family reunion with with feasts, and the music is just pure medicine, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, were there any? Do you have any favorites that you've seen so far?
Everything has been good. Everything has been like magical. There's so many moments where I feel like I'm getting. There's so many moments where I feel like I'm getting healing. And I'm starting on my powwow journey, my powwow path, and there have been moments where I have felt that energy coming in to support me and to help me along my way, because it's I don't know. I'm a little bit scared. You know, I'm a little bit like it's something I've never. I used to powwow as a child when I was 5, but it's been a long time. So this just it's making such a difference in my own personal healing, and I feel like in so many of us, you know, it's just making this major difference in every moment that we see people in their element on stage, sharing their voice, sharing their words, sharing their heart energy. It's just so powerful.
Absolutely. So, do you have any advice for, say, emerging or, say, other Indigenous, potential creators and artists out there watching this right now, and they say, I want to get into the music business, or maybe I want to become an agent or a manager. Do you have any advice for them? Just
do it. Show up with the passion. Do your homework. Do your research. Find a mentor. There's lots of people who's going to support you in your journey. We all have to start somewhere. So take that first step. On one of the panels, they said, find out where you want to end up and then work back from that. I thought that was such great advice, right? Like, where do you want to go? And then just like, what are those steps to get there? And then what's the first step? Just take that first step, right? And there's so many great organizations out there that will support this. There's all kinds of people who will mentor you, like me. I'm constantly mentoring, very gratefully mentoring lots of different Indigenous artists and non-Indigenous artists and artists of color. And just like, we lift each other up. So do it and be there and lift someone else up, and they're going to lift you up. And we all have our hand reaching out to help lift you up in that sense, to be with us. So literally, you just gotta do it. Decide to do it and do it. That's my advice.
That is fantastic advice. And there's a couple days left of the conference. Is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing in those next couple of days? There's so much going on. Actually, I'm like thinking about the
it's overwhelming.
I
know there's like so much, and it's like every day I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna take this little piece today. So yeah, it's hard for me to project what's gonna happen in the future. But there's just so many moments. Like we had moments right earlier, and it's just like to cherish those moments. And really, what I'm looking forward to is just being present, like as. That's what we are in ceremony, right? Like that's what ceremony teaches you, is how to be present. And so that's what I'm trying to do now with you, is be present and just like really, just share from my heart the things that I'm feeling and the words coming from my mouth. And that's what I just project for the next few days. I foresee a lot of dancing. I foresee a lot of medicine through the music. I foresee great things, the vibration of this music going out to the general world. The medicine is for all of us. It's so you and I feel it in the room, and people at home feel it, in their spaces. And it's just like to create that medicine energy and to continue to lift, because from so many of the performances so far, it's changed the way I'm going forward. It's changed the way I'm going to present my music. It's changed the way the words I'm going to use within my music because of what I've learned here. Yeah.
Excellent. So how can people find your music online and even get in touch with you? So should they want to work with you or want you to mentor them?
Okay. So, I'm with the Johnnies. So you can find us at the Johnnies Official. That's with a Y, the Johnnies with a Y. And my business is called Indigened. So it's the words Indigenous and education just shortened together. Indigened.ca is my website, indigened.ca. And if you just want to reach out to me, veronicajohnny@gmail.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you so much. And if I can get you to play one song.
Sure.
To play Your Girl.
Okay, Your Girl.
Your Girl.
Okay.
It's very important. I've been talking a lot about the song Your Girl. If you want to play any other of our music, I would say any of the 3 new remixes done with Stevie Salas, who's our new producer. And he's going to be producing our next album, which we're actively working on. And so
awesome.
We'll be announcing that probably later next year.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Miigwech.
Thank you, Miigwech.
We're here at the International Indigenous Music Summit. We're talking to Thea Hopkins. Hello.
Hello.
And we saw your showcase, fantastic music,
thank you.
and I loved how you opened up with Link Ray.
Yes.
And you're coming up here from the States, so maybe tell us about how you got involved and the kind of that process and that journey.
Well, I live in the Boston area, and I'm a member of the Aquinnah Wampanoag tribe of Martha's Vineyard, and I call my music Red Roots Americana because it references my red roots, and so I want to really kind of have that as part of my description of what I do and who I am.
Great. And how you been enjoying the summit so far?
Let's see. Awesome, amazing, overwhelming, healing, transformative. So it hasn't been bad.
Right. And are you finding time to sleep and rest?
No.
I don't think anybody is.
No, I'm basically learning to sleepwalk right now, but it's working, yeah.
Great. And do you have any big shows, festival shows coming up this summer?
This summer, I'm in the process of recording an album, which I am going to be releasing in January of 2024. So that's the focus right now, and then I have some things that will be coming up, but that's really the priority, and then I will be touring that as of next year. So.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And does that touring take you back to Canada, do you think? Or
I hope it takes me back to Canada. I know I'll be going over to the UK next year, and possibly Germany. So we'll see how things go as far as booking dates. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
I probably will. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark.
All right, we're at the International Indigenous Music Summit here in Toronto, Ontario, and we're talking with Chi-Miigwech. Hello.
Hello.
Maybe tell viewers what you do and why you came to the summit.
Well, first I wanted to say Hari. That's the way we greet each other in my ancestral language of the Daketh people, also known as the Lheidli T'enneh. And I am here as a guest. I was invited to be a delegate here today, actually, for the summit by Music BC, because they're supporting artists in British Columbia to come out and network and just to be here.
Excellent. And have you been to any of the other Indigenous music summits, whether it's been associated with Folk Alliance International or anything like that?
Yes, I have actually. I attended the summit in New Orleans a few years back, and I believe that's the only Indigenous summit that I've attended to. But it felt like it was massive enough to last me for a long time.
Excellent. Yeah, we were at that one as well, and it was wonderful. And it seems like these events, they're really needed, and it's great to get the community out together. Because as we were talking with someone yesterday, it seems like we're so far spread across the country. And prior to having summits like this, or even the internet, it seemed like we didn't know what was going on in other, parts of the country. And I think this is a great way to unite sort of all of our brothers and sisters and nations under one roof to promote the talents that we have. With that said, do you think there should be more initiatives like this to kind of bring us all together and further promote and expose the wonderful talent that we have here on Turtle Island?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think absolutely, and that's a part of why I'm here too. Not only am I an artist, I also sit on many boards as a cultural liaison and do some consulting, and I'm literally a bridge. And I'm that person that off the stage, I'm singing about residential school, and then it'll touch somebody in the audience, and then we have a conversation, and then that leads to something else. And through the work of me as being a musician and gaining the knowledge, I've been able to work my way into positions and sitting on boards and helping to educate, but also bring people together. And I'm doing that here already. I can feel that shift happening in terms of taking some British Columbia organizations like the BC Touring Council, and marrying it with like the Indigenous Peoples Alliance, like we've already started that conversation. So I already feel like there's so many wins already, and I keep saying it when something really magical happens. I'm like, if this was the only reason I came here, I'm done. I'm good.
Excellent. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, or any artist you're looking forward to seeing specifically during this weekend?
Well, not particularly. I'm just being really open. There's a lot of artists here that I've never even heard of before, and I love that part of this. There are people, it's like a reunion in many ways because, Turtle Island, Indigenous musicians, we get to see each other when we come to events in general, into festivals. But being in Toronto has just been a little bit mind-blowing for me, actually, because I've been to Toronto, but not in this capacity. So it's like I've been telling people it's like Vancouver on steroids. It's pretty wild. But the Indigenous community here, and the Uber driver was saying, "Oh, the arts are dead in Toronto." I said, "I don't know where you've been, because that's not my experience." And so, I was able to educate the Uber driver a little bit about what's going on here, and just constantly just being the sharing of information, and just really trying to, just be the bridge, no matter who it is. I love talking to people about who we are as Indigenous people in this country, and the important work that we're doing.
And is there somewhere online people can learn more about the work that you're doing?
I absolutely have a website, and I'm all over social media. So if you were to put my name in your Google bar, you will find me all over the place. I'm everywhere.
Great. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Tebe Snachalia.
Kiitos.
And I have seen it years. Often people are starting their first live shows at 18, $20 now, $23.
That's right. It's good to have a second one. And we're here at the International Indigenous Music Summit, and we're talking to Alan Correas. Hello.
Hi, Mark.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So, what are you looking forward to at the summit? I know it's almost over, so maybe you've done that thing that you wanted to do. But I'll assume you're checking out the showcase artists as well as listening to the panels and the workshops. And do you have any other specific reasons why you're here?
Honestly, for me, it's about just connecting with people, putting faces to names, and building relationships. I think relationships is what the music industry runs on. And I remember one piece of wisdom I was given: it's not who you know, it's about who knows you. And so I'm trying to let people know who I am while I'm here.
Well, it seems like everybody knows who you are, or most people.
I think they've seen my name pop up in emails and maybe see me on a Zoom call, but I think getting to know each other over a 5-day period is a lot more beneficial.
That's true. And so what kind of big projects are you working on now that we can expect from you this year?
Honestly, most of my job is writing reports. So I'm working on I've already submitted my CADAC entries, and so I think people can expect a lot of great financial statements and
and spreadsheets
and reports.
Okay.
I feel like 80% of my job is writing reports. We did submit another project grant to the Canada Council, and the Canada Council has been so wonderful in supporting Indigenous organizations and artists over the last, since 2017, 2018, when all the programs changed. And so that's really what's given me the opportunity to leave Manitoba music and really branch out on my own and have a career in the arts. So honestly, coming up, I think I'm looking forward to returning to more of a routine with our festival programming, and also getting back into the pitching schedule for some of the artists that I help. And that's mostly in the fall months, preparing for the following summer.
I see. And what advice do you have for any young Indigenous artists maybe watching this right now and they want to get into the music business, whether it be a performer or be on the other side of the sort of the stage, preparing reports? What advice do you have?
Well, I think good music matters most, and so just practice your instrument, practice your singing, songwriting every day, if not every week, And what we really need, though, is like Indigenous folks to take an interest in the business side of the music industry. We need admin talent, and I consider myself like a second-generation Indigenous arts administrator. But I'm really looking forward to meeting people who are interested in being that third generation. And so I encourage people, if they're interested in being on the business side, to reach out. And we have a network of aunties and uncles who are willing to help. And I think that's where we need the most help, is on the admin side.
Absolutely. I agree 110%. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thanks. Thank you, Mark.
Again, we're here at the International Indigenous Music Summit here in Toronto, Ontario, and we're talking to Noel. So, what brings you to the summit?
It's just because I love Toronto, and now that the Maple Leafs are out of the playoffs, I love everybody in the city. I think it's fantastic.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you're looking forward to specifically at the summit for the next few days?
Actually, I've been so busy this past week that I don't even know who's here, so I'm just bouncing around, trying to check things out.
Great. Anything interesting you've got so far?
Actually, I just set foot in the building, so I got my lanyard. I think that the lanyards are really beautiful.
They are. They really are.
I've met some great people already. We haven't even started any of the showcases yet.
That's awesome. The showcases are going to be beginning sometime the next short while. So we're out here in the foyer trying to do the interview. Anything specifically, any artists that you're dying to see here in the next few days?
I don't know about dying to see, but I'd really like to start some really interesting conversations about finding audience, developing audience, funding questions as well, which is kind of my specialty. And sort of some of the things that I'm going to be doing here as well. I'll have some mentoring sessions tomorrow, an information session on funding and granting and how to submit grants on Saturday. And hopefully throughout, on my unofficial capacity, I'll be able to talk a bit about my also alter ego, William C. Wichemna Yamnia Kiitos, who does a really interesting video DJ set.
That's right. And tell us more about that. There's a release coming out in the near future, right?
Oh, I've been saying that for years now, and it's coming closer and closer to fruition. I'm working with some really interesting producers now, so we'll see what comes. And I can't really put a date on the release. I got a bunch of really cool stuff. I think I really want to get it to a certain point, and it's not there yet, so I'm still working on it. And I have the luxury of time, so still pretty young.
You are. You're just a young whippersnapper.
I don't know about that. I can tell you stories that are not fit for camera.
Oh, we'll do that off camera later over dinner somewhere. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It sounds like they're about to start the showcases. And enjoy the rest of the summit.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Back to the International Indigenous Music Summit, and we're talking to Ace and Abby. Hey, how are you? We're very well.
Yeah. Is there
A question? Yes. What are you doing here? For God's sakes, man.
I'm right now. I'm just enjoying. Like my friend Olivia. She just played, and I played with her on Texas. We actually met during the pandemic. There's this thing called Native Guitar Theorists.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, so there was like this open mic that happened every Tuesday, and somehow I stumbled upon it. I started showing up every Tuesday on Instagram, and I play a song, and sort of community. And that's where I met Olivia, and then like we kind of kept talking after that, and then kept talking about wanting to work on something. schedule was becoming busy, and finally I was going to Austin, Texas. She's living in Austin now, so we ended up having a show together here. This beautiful beach out back open area that was just so big, and the lights and the vibe there. Yeah, so it was nice to kind of see her here on this big massive stage. Yeah, so I'm enjoying now, and then I performed at the HBK showcase, closing night party. Me, Sebastian Gaskin, I'll go on Sunday.
That's going to be deadly.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm wearing notes for the band, so.
And how you been handling touring? You've been all over the world. You were recently in Italy, and you were there, and then you're back. So how are you dealing with all this?
Oh man, yesterday was a show. You saw me yesterday?
Yes, yeah.
That was kind of a show at the end, and I was just like, but you know, I had a 6:30 a.m. soundcheck this morning. I played a show at 9, and so cleaned up my garage. I don't know, like I'm just trying to like get back to work time, which is good. But I feel better today. Definitely was tired yesterday. So I just got back such a trip.
Italy must have been amazing. Great food and fun.
Yeah. Well, the food was incredible. Like 2 things I learned about the food there. One, 5-course meals. You know, like I didn't know about that, so we set up this place and it's this big massive plate of pasta and the whole thing like that. And then the second plate comes out of pasta. I was like, what? And then the meat plate comes out.
Oh my God.
And then a little apple plate comes out. And then dessert comes out. And then like, wow. I'm not to be rude, so it was all really good. But I ate it, but then I had to play after. And I was just like, my diet was full, and I'm just like so full of food, almost like this.
It's hard to sing when you're full of food.
Yeah.
I just want to go to sleep after 8 of these.
Exactly. Play sad, so that was tough. But yeah, no, I didn't. Oh, and the second thing I learned that was there's 2 things is no cappuccinos after 11 p.m.
Okay.
It was like we went to this pizza place and we were waiting for 2 kilo of cheese and does anyone want anything to drink? And I was like, yeah, I'll get a cappuccino. And the waitress and people around were just like so shocked. And like one like no-nap from like across the restaurant like actually like scoffed and said, no. And then like picked up her bottle of wine and showed me that. And I was like, okay, I will get milk in the espresso, like whatever. Like it's, but I was just like, yeah, like I'm about to eat like a ball of cheese. So no cappuccinos. Okay. Getting day drunk on
all right. Well, Italy traveling tips. There you go. So, is there anyone that you're here that you're excited to see showcasing for the next couple days?
I was excited to see Olivia, so I got to see Olivia play. I'm excited to see Sebastian playing with his band. I'm excited to see. We got to see Lisa last night too. So I wish I was like more with her too. Like she was so phenomenal, but I was like, I barely caught all of the singing impressions. Set after it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like their NPR concert. I'm just going to be floating around checking that out.
Great.
Everywhere.
Hey. Great. And then after the summit is over, you're back on tour? Are you recording in the studio? What are your plans for the summit?
There's 3 awards.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Ottawa? We'll see you there.
Yeah, well, do an update there.
We'll see you in a couple of days. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Hello, we're at the International Indigenous Music Summit, and I'm just keeping my voice low because there's some showcasing going on, and we're talking here with Sam Cook. Hi, Sam.
Hi, everybody. Sending love from the Niigina Nation in Western Australia. Happy to be here in Toronto.
Well, it's great to see you again. Last time I think I saw you was when I was in Melbourne, Australia, for the Australasian World Music Expo. That was about over 10 years ago now. And now you're living in LA, Los Angeles. So maybe tell us about what you're doing.
So I'm the representation of Australian New Zealand music in the whole of the US. So it's a mainstream position, which is a first for First Nations to be employed in that role. But I look after everyone from Sia to the Kid Leroy to Men at Work to Neil Finn to the kid that just jumps off that flight to go, I want to be a musician, how do I get going? And I find space and I hold space for that.
That is fantastic. So is there anyone that's caught your eye here, a new and emerging artist, or even some legacy artists? Anyone here that you're crazy to see about or that you're looking forward to their performance?
The whole lot of the showcases have been powerful. And, I'm here with a bit of a roving eye to see how much investment we can put in from Australia's point of view with our First Nations delegations or a showcase. It's the quality. And, Candice is doing such a great job stage managing. The team is doing such a phenomenal job just curating and holding a loving space. But each showcase has delivered something. Yesterday the piece for the artists that didn't have their visa, who couldn't come, who were on the screen, was such a powerful act of resilience and resistance to say, well, regardless, we're coming anyway, in whatever form we could get in, which is a video on screen that held its truth and its space for that whole showcase with the dancer. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It was fantastic watching them. It felt like they were here. I felt the energy, the strength, the power of the music, and it was great that their dancer was able to come.
Yeah. The dancer and then Sarah's performance, just coming out of a car accident, and I'm thinking how vocally powerful she is to even just transcend her own, difficulties logistically and physically to be here. And it puts everything in context. We're all coming from long destinations and faraway areas or not, but each story is a journey and each story has a piece of resilience, whatever way and shape that looks like, which I think is the power of an International Indigenous Music Summit.
So do you have any advice to aspiring Indigenous musicians, whether from Canada or from Australia or New Zealand, for any other parts of the world? What's your best advice to them that should they want to pursue a music career or even behind the scenes producing?
So I think the big thing I've been thinking about is we're actually out of the generation of asking to be at a table, asking permission, asking or playing in the parameters, and now we're just telling it, this is what it is, this is how we're going to do it. For example, there was a conversation about social media and the safety of that for First Nations people, and the reality is it is an unsafe space. And I guess as both of us being kind of early adopters of technology, really to recognise that it hasn't moved in our favour for the last, 20-odd years, but that we have the ability, for example, in a funding situation, when a grant comes forward from a First Nations artist and they say, well, they don't have enough likes or they don't have enough TikTok followers, to say that's actually not our metric. We measure differently, and this is how it's going to be, and this is how this is going to evolve, and putting that into practice and just disrupting a lot of those waiting for permission spaces to say, well, no, this is how it's going to be, and this is for the betterment of our people. So, yeah, I think it's a really beautiful time. I think the next generation coming up is flowering and blossoming in such a powerful, mindful way. And the world is changing, and the world is changing in a space, in a way that has space for our music, and is holding space in a loving way. So everything is just encapsulated in this event.
It's like it's all falling into place, all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's great for these sort of events. And a big thanks to Amanda, Shoshona, Nicole, and everyone else who worked on the summit. And thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. And we'll hopefully see you soon. We're planning on coming to LA at some time in the near future.
And I'm there ready to receive you all on Tongva country.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Hello, everybody. We're at the International Indigenous Music Summit here in Toronto, Ontario, in the wonderful new facility, the Chi-Miigwech Music Hall. And with me is Cassidy Houston. Hello, Cassidy.
Hello, how are you?
I am very well. And you're here from Northwestern Ontario or Northern Ontario. And what brings you to the summit?
I just wanted to meet some more Indigenous folks who are musicians. I've only been in Northern Ontario as a musician musicians, so between Thunder Bay and Sudbury, it's not always easy to find other musicians who have similar life views or just want to share connections. You don't have, so I'm just having a choice, you know, people that
Great. Is there any interesting panels or speakers, workshops you're interested in attending?
all of them. That's like a very, I feel like, cheat of an answer, but I was really excited actually for the session that I just took part in, which was, I just started talking about when you have that record, what are you doing most? And of course I was supporting our Music Ontario Executive Director Rosalind, since I'm on the board of directors, so I had to make sure to kind of see
Great, and that seems to be a challenge. We see that all the time, artists and core. I think that's they think the process is finished. They think they've reached the finish line. Really, 98% of the work comes after the recording. So what's a common error or mistake or maybe faux pas that you see new artists doing before they put out their record?
It's really hard because I'm somebody who I write music because I want it the way God has. So I don't hear a lot of people crying out. So I hear a lot of people say things like they don't do things for their audience. But I think the thing is to them and yourself, it doesn't really matter what everybody else does for your audience. So I think it will just stick to yourself. A lot of people don't stick to your
That's true, and to be an artist and have longevity, you have to have that sort of authenticity, you got to be genuine. So, do you have any new material that you're working on currently that you can release those?
My goal is to be able to actually. I have songs written and some demos, and I'm just waiting for that. But yeah, I'll have a new. It's going to be a mix of singles and a 3-song EP. And just don't care until you pick like flowers as to red flag flowers. So
red flag flowers. Okay.
And I think that
great. Is there any particular artist showcasing here this weekend that you really, really want to see that you've never seen before?
when I have not necessarily paid for promotion or anything like that I haven't seen. That's what makes
Or maybe if you see them, you want to see them again.
We met in Thunder Bay years ago, and so it's always nice to see someone that I'm like, hey, that's fun. Like, you know, you spend time in Thunder Bay.
Absolutely, and we're all from Thunder Bay ourselves, so we're looking forward to the rest of the conference. And thank you for taking the time and speaking with us. And enjoy the rest of the conference.
That's what I don't aim necessarily when I'm
We're here at the International Indigenous Music Summit, and I'm talking to Angus Finnan. Hello. Hi. And what brings you to the summit?
I'm here in support of the good work of my friends and colleagues and the community, and in part to really celebrate and observe the growth and beautiful momentum of this event.
And what sort of major changes have you seen, say, over the last 5 years in the Indigenous music market?
Definitely a galvanized sense of connection. Just in terms, I think this event in particular and this organization has folks knew about each other and would show up in different settings, but having something under a banner that specifically celebrates and addresses the needs and opportunities and holds space in a way that is different than other industry events has created a real sense of galvanized community. And I say that as someone observing and supporting in my own way the community, but from outside of it, but seeing that real sense of pride and momentum, which I think is exciting and necessary, and kudos to the organizers, because it's I think something that elevates everyone's ability to then position into other marketplaces and events with a bit more of a sense of backing, even if it's just the industry backing.
And it's good to see, this event now. It's on its own, because we were first introduced to the summit back at Folk Alliance, I think in Montreal, and that was before our pandemic and all that happened. Do you think there'll be more sort of standalone events like this in the future?
Of this summit?
Yeah, like
well, that was the design. So from the first time that Shoshona called and said and started to inquire about hosting something like this, a seed version of this inside the Folk Alliance event. The idea was that it would not be a Folk Alliance thing; that it was really about holding space for something to take root. And this is the fact that it's its own thing was by design, and I think with Shoshona and the crew that sort of really dug into building it out, it's got to a place now where it's obviously its own organization. That has its own trajectory that could be inside any event or completely independent of future piece of the events will be, but I think it's an important and very unique international gathering.
Absolutely. And is there any artist that you're looking forward to seeing for the next few days?
Well, it's always hard. Like old friends, but that's mostly because I haven't seen the performances in a while. So I mean, I was looking to discover new artists as recently as 5 minutes ago, and just to see the real range, literally all over the map, geographically and also sonically. I think that's one of the exciting things about the discovery nature of this. It's not pigeonholed I'm looking forward to seeing friends that I haven't seen for a long time.
Right. Well, awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time and speaking with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
My pleasure. Thanks.
De la raíz de la tierra crecen los versos que en tinta de